Welcome to 1 Hour Reviews.
Still say this is the craziest goddamn thing I ever heard.
We give games exactly 1 hour to win us over and tell you which ones kept us hooked until the end.
I promise this won't take long.
Burnout Paradise is an open-world racing game developed by Criterion Games and published by Electronic Arts. The game released in January 2008 for the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 and in September of that year for Microsoft Windows. Burnout Paradise is the fifth iteration of Burnout, and for the first time in the series, it allows players to roam freely through the streets and mountain passes of Paradise City, the fictional setting for the game.
I promise this won't take long.
Ready to race? You are here. Race west to the wind farm.
While starting our 1 hour tour around Paradise City, we realized that giving an unbiased review of this game might prove to be difficult, since racing games, much like real-time strategy or role-playing games, have a specific audience, and we want to review our first hour as a global experience, regardless of predispositions towards certain genres. Nevertheless, there are plenty of racing games that manage to hold our attention for different reasons, so we feel like this one has a fair shot here. Burnout Paradise ticks a lot of boxes when it comes to having fun behind the wheel. Gameplay-wise, it handles like an arcade rather than a simulation, but the physics are convincing enough to create a powerful and exciting experience. The sense of speed is phenomenal, and crashing an adversary or yourself at high speed proves for a very Michael Bay-esque adrenaline rush. Visually, Burnout is most impressive on the playable vehicles, which obviously makes sense for a racing game. And while excusing the somewhat barren areas here and there, this being the first open world Burnout and taking in consideration the sheer size of the map, some of the non-playable vehicle models look a bit simple and dull. In defense of Criterion, this might just have been a concession that had to be made in order to get the game to run smoothly on last-gen consoles. As a racing game, Burnout is quite solid, but looking beyond the gameplay, we do have some concerns about the game's lifespan. After playing for nearly an hour, having crashed a few dozen cars and won a few races, we noticed that the initial thrill of the game quickly fades to repetition. The developers chose to avoid loading screens by not allowing for any fast travel, but this just resulted in several long, boring trips to the other end of the map to get further in the game. What we're missing most though is a sense of progress, be it through a story unfolding or a way for the player to get out of the game loop and interact with the game differently. We personally would have loved a simple physics sandbox, for example, where you could place a few ramps and cars, set up some tracking shots and just create mayhem that way while recording some amazing footage. For fans of arcade-style racing games, we can definitely recommend this title, and the various multiplayer modes will probably be host to many frantic sessions online. While this game may score big points in its own category, it doesn't pass our specific criteria for longevity as an all-round experience, and even when taking in consideration the multiplayer aspect of the game, we don't think we'll be spending much more than a couple of hours on this one, due to the lack of progression or narrative while playing.